Hey, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a stocks to watch video. Today is October 1st, 2023. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, so this is going to be a new format video where I'm going to do a little bit of my state of the market in the beginning, just a brief overview. And then I'm going to go through about 10 or 12 names for stocks to watch of some of the best names holding up so far. And I think I'm going to do this in replacing the state of the market. If you still want the full state of the market, that'll be a subscriber only option. So you can find me at Alpha Charts 365. Subscribe. It's $10 a month. Super, super cheap. And again, I'm just giving a ton of content to my subscribers. If you're interested, like I said, it's $10. Give it a try. Let's get into this video. SPY, you see we got this waterfall type action happening here underneath these moving averages, but the 200-day is just above it, and I'm sorry, just below it and still rising. So again, mixed signals in the market, right? In my opinion, mixed signals. Qs, exactly the same scenario, except we see that the 200-day is much further below it. We don't know if this is going to eventually get there or not. You know, it's got this general area where the 200-day is. Again, it's a potential target, this 335, but we don't know if it's going to get there or not. But we do have a lot of pressure from above. And when we look at IWO, which is the small cap growth names, and change that setting real fast. You can see how this trend line has been important for a very long time. And price broke below it, came back, testing from above and below all of its moving averages right now. So again, it's hard to be too bullish until price gets back above this 200-day. So we don't have to be first in the pool. So long as we jump in the pool at the right time, that's the important thing. I just don't think it's time to be first in the pool. Looking at SMH, I'd love to look at the semiconductors and what they are doing. And you can see how this has been very important in this area. We made a lower high and price is trying to retake the moving averages, right? So you want to look for something constructive like semiconductors trying to retake moving averages. That's constructive. Now, if it falls apart here, that's obviously not constructive, right? So there are some constructive things happening. We're just not, I don't think we're quite there yet. And a lot of it is because of the dollar, right? So UUP is the dollar index. And you can see that price has, if it does try to get up to this 30 and a half or so, there's some room to the upside here. So we'll see if that, if that matters. But I can tell you that this is right where the market started going sideways to declining. And it just coincidentally coincides with the dollar increasing, right? So we have that against us as well. So again, a lot of questions in this market. It's very hard. Anybody that says they know which way it's going, I would probably be pretty skeptical of them, in my opinion. All right, so I have about 10 names that are holding up well. So if this market is starting to get its footing, these are some names that potentially could be outperformers. Let's start. First one is RIVN. It's RIVN Auto Company. I like that it retook the VWAP right over here. And this is, I think a fairly legit area, something like that, to try to break out of, right? So we get above this area, 24, I don't know, whatever that is, 2450-ish, 2475. Things are going to start to, align bullishly again. Not a ton of accumulation, but not a ton of distribution either. So we'll see what happens here. But I like this name for a potential move higher. GLBE. There's your downtrend line. Again, it may need to pull back a little bit or go sideways a little bit. There's a little mini gap right there that may need to get filled. But I like the way this can potentially break this trend line. Again, nothing to do until it breaks that trend line, right? But GLBE, SCS, this one's interesting. New one to my watch list, and highest volume ever right there, September 20th. highest volume ever. That's pretty impressive. Big move too, 19% move. And here's your VWAP. This is the area, this 10, we'll call it 1065, just below this area, is where I would manage risk in this particular name. Looks really, really strong. What else do we have here? HCC. This is a coal company, from what I understand. Again, it's extended. Wait for this to settle up, but if coal is going to continue to move higher, and you can see how it broke out of this area, retested it, and boom, good accumulation showing up there too as well. Yeah, I mean, let it come to you. Don't chase it. But this, again, it may have to pull back some, maybe even fill this gap. But I'd watch this one. HCC, Blue Owl Capital. We've talked about this one. It's making its first real base here. Trying to move higher. A lot of good volume coming in here. Again, kind of failed on Friday, but maybe just need a little bit more time. Break out of here, and I think that this can start to move. Coursera, COUR, made its first real double bottom base. We talked about it now for a few weeks. It had a nice run, and now it is came back, it retested, and is trying to move higher as well. Nice little risk reward right there. CCCS, one we talked about last week. I don't know if anybody got into it or not, but it was a really good look how it was coming back into the moving averages. We talked about that. And it just exploded higher, went from $11 to $11.60 to $13.35. That's a beautiful move right there. Now it's extended, so if it could come back some, right, maybe fill that gap, we'll see, and then move higher. That's what I'd love to see. And that's again, I think it's a AI type of name, but do you own due diligence? CrowdStrike. Again, everyone knows this name. I like how it's kind of came up, consolidated in a reasonably tight range, right? I mean, this, for what the market was doing, this ain't that bad. Came back, kind of retested its breakout, and looks like it wants to move higher. Again, might get a little resistance here, so maybe one more pullback, and that could be kind of a, maybe like some sort of, I hate to say use it, but cup and handle-ish like type of pattern. What else do we have here? BRZE. This is BRZE. Again, trying to make its first IPO base. Doing everything right. It can break out. It looks pretty good. There is a potential here to get in early for maybe a quarter or half position if you really like this name. And I'd probably use this 50-day. If you can do a very small position, starter type position. I'd probably use the 50-day until things can really kind of set up right. But overall, it's looking pretty good. And the last one on my list is RIVN. And this one has, we've talked about it for a while. From this breakout, actually, we've talked about it. And it's just really stair-stepped higher. Again, sometimes it does come back and tag its 50-day. That's within its character, right? Beautiful gap up. Tested the VWAP from the gap. Here comes the 50-day at 23.50-ish, and we'll see what happens. Again, it made a lower high, so maybe it needs to come back and just kind of work itself out a little bit. But overall, holding up better than most in this market, right? So there you go. An overview of the market and then 10 names as well. Let me know what you think of the new format, and I hope you all are doing well. Take care. Bye-bye.